Welcome to Wednesday Night Undressed. You have found the podcast that is better than the rest. This is Louis Orlando. I'm usually referred to as the Doctor, Louis Orlando, by Jeremy Taylor, but he is away today. And we have a star-studded podcast panel. We are joined today by Chris MagerKurth.
Hello.
With his wife, Lin Wang.
Hello.
My friend, Matt Kuzinski.
I'd like to go by the Gaming Wolf and known for my son.
And Fernando Lefort.
Hello.
And our buddy Evo will be joining us shortly, as always. Well, today we're going to do stuff a little bit differently than we normally do. I'm just going to start off by asking you guys, what season do you guys prefer? We are in the middle of what, as far as I can remember, the closest thing we've had to a spring in a very, very long time. So are you guys more so looking forward to summer or missing winter already? Fernando, what about you? Are you looking forward to summer?
No, not the Kansas summer. I'm not looking forward for be over 100 degrees, far away from the coast, and with a lot of mosquitoes around. With the humidity that the only remembrance that I had, like anything close to that, it was when I was on the Amazon.
Uh-huh.
So no, I'm not.
So
I love this weather is perfect for me.
The spring, this springtime right now.
Yeah.
So I'm taking it then that summers in Sao Paulo are much more temperate. They're much milder.
It's much milder.
Gotcha.
Even with all the pollution, like sometimes you get warm days, but in the evening is always cool off.
Uh-huh.
And it's more joyful. But you have other sort of mosquitoes over there too that you don't want to be much close to you, like.
Gotcha. But you do have mosquitoes. That's not like a completely American invention, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, aren't they a little bit bigger there too?
Well, you have all sorts, and there was a lot of other diseases, like what it was? Zika virus, and the other one too. It's not
West Nile?
The bird flu.
No, it's close
SARS.
to the West Nile. It's it was pretty bad too, but
yeah. But are they like, we're making a big deal out of Zika right now? Is Zika something that's common, or is it just getting big in Brazil now?
Well,
like, was there
I'm not
Zika
very on the
when you
loop
were a
of the
kid?
news, but no, I never heard it before. I think
Gotcha.
it's a fairly new. I think it became a huge worldwide. It was nearby the last Summer Olympics that
Right.
was a big like. And I don't know. I heard about some studies that they were trying to eradicate it, but I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not on a loop.
Oh, that's okay. What about you, Kuzinski? You're from the Great
I'm from
White
the Great,
North.
Great White North. Yeah, it's always spring and fall because it's kind of the milder of the two. But yeah, Kansas is good.
So, which do you prefer, though? Winter or summer?
What?
Which do you prefer?
I don't prefer any those two. I prefer
So you
spring
like
and fall.
spring and fall.
Yeah.
You're ruining, both you guys, you're ruining my program.
Sorry. Program. Yeah, okay.
All right, Chris, what about you?
When you asked the question, what was your favorite season? You didn't say if you liked spring or winter.
That's true.
I mean, spring
I'm a
and
horrible host.
spring and fall are the best. I mean, the temperatures are the mildest. I mean, being a Kansas boy, I know how bad the summers can be, but I look forward to it because it's a lot more golfing for me. So
Yes, the golfing.
I just walk around the course with an umbrella. I carry my shade wherever I go. So
Sweet. Miss Lin Wang, what do you prefer? What's your favorite season?
I think I like summer because I can bring a book going to the swimming pool. So
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that puts me in the absolute minority then, because I love the winter. I love it when it's cold. I love it when it snows, although we haven't seen very much snow here. Did it snow in Lawrence at all this past winter?
Very. If it did, it didn't stay long.
Gotcha. All right, that was just kind of time waster a little bit. The kind of the cool thing is that we have a plethora of people that have either lived outside the country or have been outside the country multiple times. So I was kind of thinking about you guys when I came up with this question. What is something that you have experienced overseas that you wish was a part of America? And not necessarily like a political party, but I'm talking about something small that makes a ton of sense in places that you've been that just doesn't seem to catch on here? I'll go first to give you guys a chance to think about it if you haven't seen this question before. When I was in Bulgaria, one of the things that was really interesting to me was the way that the bathrooms were designed. In a ton of the bathrooms, especially the older bathroom, the entire bathroom was set up as the shower. So you'd walk into the bathroom and you would put the sheet or the shield over the toilet paper roll. And if there was anything else in the bathroom that could be damaged by being wet, you just put it away and you turn on the shower and the whole room becomes your shower. So it didn't matter if you had a small bathroom or not. And I thought this was incredibly helpful. I mean, you would just turn on the shower and it would, rain on your toilet. It would rain on your sink. I thought it was incredibly handy to have as much space as you possibly could to take your shower, and it would make bathroom cleanup super duper easy. But I could be wrong there. So that was like the first thing that I thought of, that I thought, you know what, this should be a thing in America. So I'm going to toss it maybe to you, Chris. You look like you might have a notion of something that you've thought of.
I do have a notion.
Okay.
The thing I'd really like to see over here is the first time I went back to China. Actually, when we went into, we're looking for drapes for our new house that we had just bought, and we basically go into the store, and it looks like a department store. It looks like a JCPenney's, Sears, something like that. And we're walking through. I'm not really paying that much attention. We get upstairs, and there's these 12, 14 stalls with all this fabric hanging down. There's a lady in each of the stalls, and I quickly realized that each of the ladies there is an independent contractor. And my wife and my mother-in-law walked to each one, looking at fabric, talking about prices, and deciding what they want. And then eventually they get, find the stuff that they want. And eventually, as we're walking out, I realized that the whole entire place is that way. That the place where you buy shoes, there's 3 or 4 ladies there all selling shoes right next to each other.
Gotcha.
And so, there's lots of wheeling and dealing going on. If someone's offering, $20 for this pair of shoes, the lady next door can say, I'll sell them to you for $15.
Gotcha. So are the ladies then reselling it? I'm assuming that they haven't made the shoes.
No, they're made somewhere else, but
Gotcha.
they're just selling them. And I mean, in a lot of the department stores I went into, it was that way. I mean, we bought myself a winter jacket the second time we went back, and it was pretty much the same deal. I mean, you saw just sections, that it was one independent person who'd bought a bunch of jackets and was sitting there selling them.
Gotcha.
And, you could go back and forth and negotiate all the prices, and I just love to be able to go into Walmart and, find an associate and say, I think that $30 for this is just a little too much. I'll give you 20 for it.
Right.
Rather than, the only things you really bargain for in this country is houses and cars and, maybe 1 or 2 other things. But, pretty much here you just go and you pay the price. There's really no freewheeling capitalism going on.
Have you ever watched any of the videos like on YouTube or any of the documentaries that talk about people that try to go in and barter or bargain, haggle?
I've heard those, but I haven't watched a bunch of them.
Yeah, it's a weird thing because apparently it's possible, but it is so out of the norm that you just come off looking like a weirdo.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not want to pay the $19.99 that's on the price tag? Can't you see that there's
I think that's an
But if
American.
I get it for $15,
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen anybody haggle something like that.
When you say anybody haggle, you mean here in America?
Yeah, here
You've
in
seen
America.
haggling.
Oh, you see it in Europe all the time,
Yeah.
but I don't think, at least when I traveled, it was all over the place. But here, even, I don't know, some of the trade shows or some of the art in the park, I don't see a lot of people haggling.
I've seen in the art in the parks and places like that.
Okay.
I've seen people haggling there, and I've seen smaller local businesses. If the owner's there or someone that's like in management capacity, they'll if it sounds like you're reasonable, you're offering a reasonable price, then they'll be willing to negotiate with you. But yeah, places like Walmart or Penny's or the big chain stores, they're just working stiffs and they don't have that authority to do that.
See, for me, that's like one of the reasons that I love to go to flea markets. Like, I absolutely love and it's not as though I'm going to find anything of import or value. But if I see something that I like, knowing that I can look at the price tag and figure out, let's see, 55% of that is this. This is what I'll ask for just to see if I get it. And if I get it, great. And if not, then it's just time to move on.
Well, you'd think that it'd be more popular here in this country given that we're a capitalist nation.
Right.
So.
Right. Well, I got my pet theory. You've not been to the podcast enough times to hear me complain about Edward Bernays, the father of propaganda. I think that it's entirely his fault, and I think that tons of things are entirely his fault. We can talk about that later. You can just go back and listen to
I'll
5
Google
or 10
him later
different episodes. Yeah. What about you, Lin?
For me, it's public transportation.
Really?
Oh yeah. For me, I hate driving. I hate it. After so many years, people hate me drive too. So, but it's both ways. But I don't have a lot of options in Midwest. That's one thing I really miss.
So, what is the major difference between public transportation in China? Are you from Taiwan?
No. I'm from mainland. But
You're from the mainland.
What
Okay.
I'm trying to say, the point is. I don't have to think when I get out of the house or the apartment.
Right.
I can just grab subway, metro, bus. At night, I can grab taxi. I can get around.
Right.
That's something I really miss. But in Midwest, I don't have a lot of options. But at least I think in Kansas City, there is commuter bus. There is the light rail. There is something there.
Right.
So.
Just not as ubiquitous and
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I get
As
it.
convenient as
Yeah, because from Kansas City, there's commuter bus to Lawrence, like twice in the morning, twice in the evening, something like that, Monday to Friday for people work in between. But it will be for me, and then same thing from our house in Shawnee to Kansas City downtown to work, twice in the morning, twice in the evening. But it will be so much nicer if it can run all day. And I feel like, Chris and I, we talk about that. I feel Kansas City can sustain to a system like this.
Right.
It can sustain for sure. But hopefully maybe next 20, 30 years we can see that.
Well, there's this weird thing where public transport here is sort of stigmatized. Like, there's just this assumption that everybody will have a car and that everybody will want to drive. And so people have a tendency, at least my impression is, people have a tendency to look down on people that are taking public transportation. Have you guys experienced that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, and, I have had that experience where I've been on the bus or the subway in Chicago, and, there was somebody nearby who obviously hadn't bathed in, several days.
Oh,
but, that's actually pretty rare. And, it's part of what happens. I mean, I'm willing to accept that for the convenience of, being able to get around without having to deal with too much with traffic.
Right.
Because for me, sitting, in bumper-to-bumper traffic, at 8 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just barely moving is, a real waste of my time as opposed to...
And I would say, if you have the experience like back in China, like commute for me one way in the morning to work was like 2 hours, pure traffic. Even if, I don't miss that. At the end of the day, I work late, I grab a taxi, it's like 10, 15 minutes back to my apartment. So I understand that. But still, all I'm saying is it makes it easier. I understand all of those. Like you have to deal with like homeless people, poverty. That's any major cities. That's part of the equation, the components. You have to deal with that. But it will be nicer. There is that feature.
Right.
People can use that.
Gotcha. Kuzinski,
Yes, sir.
is there anything in your wide and varied travels that you want to bring back to America?
In Barcelona, they had this great little thing with vending machines. You could find them on the corner anywhere, and they were full of beer. So I
I
would.
was in Japan, too.
Did they? Okay.
I don't remember that in Barca. We were there.
You didn't see those? I saw them.
I did not see, but one thing I'll say really shocked me is it Rome? Which city in Italy we saw the vending machine with the condom? That shocked me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. They were in Rome, and I saw them in Rome. I saw them in Florence. They were vending machines, usually next to a pharmacy that you could get condoms at.
I mean,
and right out on the street, not tucked away in a bathroom
Right.
somewhere,
Gotcha.
but right out, right there, ready to go.
and I don't remember that in Barcelona. I'm sorry, but
But yeah, in all seriousness, one of the nice things when I traveled in Europe was just the understanding and the hospitality of people who you didn't speak the language with. I think something here we're kind of missing is that tolerance for somebody who doesn't necessarily speak English while you're overseas and you don't necessarily speak the language. If you try, the people are very receptive and will try to communicate with you. And I think that's something that we miss here and lack here.
Very cool. Mr. Ivanov. Hey. Good to see you. We were just talking about things that should be part of America that you've experienced overseas. So are there any things, and we were like, for instance, I talked about like being in your home country, the way that certain bathrooms, you could just kind of close everything up and use the whole bathroom as a shower. Matt was just talking about the beer vending machines in Barcelona.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, remember my invention? I came up with an invention that Conroy should have here. It's the claw, but with tiny bottles of airplane alcohol. It's going to be so popular. Imagine everybody's going to be playing this. It's perfect. No, I agree. That's a good idea. The beer vending machines, especially if you're not 18. That's
that
your
makes
access
it-
to
exactly,
access
exactly.
to alcohol. No, nude beaches.
Nude beaches.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's in Europe, you do what you want. Here it's you go in jail. It's just the human body. You can sunbathe without your top on. I know that you like to do that.
Every chance I get.
But yeah, that's a good thing. What else? I don't know. We were both.
Just trying to think of some small things that I thought was fantastic.
I think the drinking age is only a problem here. I think it encourages, when you make something a taboo, don't you agree? It's so much more sweet to break it, and so much more enticing. And so we see a lot of binge drinking at a very young age here, whereas over there, it's legal. There's really no drinking age. And kids don't go crazy. At least in Bulgaria, they don't. They don't go and get drunk. They might have a drink. My daughter was, 15 or 16, and she went with her boyfriend. We went together. And we sat at the restaurant, and the waiter came and said, "What would you guys like to drink?" Well, we have gin and tonic. We have this. And the kid was in shock. The boyfriend was in complete shock. And he's like, "I'll have a gin and tonic," but he was so worried, and Alina was used to it, my daughter was used to it, so she's like, yeah, sure, gin and tonic. And it's normal there, so kids don't overdrink. It's interesting.
I think it has something to do with in European country like France, Spain, kids were exposed to that earlier, so it's not like they abuse that to the level.
Yeah.
No, I think that, as you were talking, I was thinking about one of the other things that just completely blew my mind while I was over there. We went over right as the kids were graduating from high school. So we would just be walking down the street, and like inevitably every 5 seconds or so, some girl who has just graduated high school to celebrate basically like stands up in the car, flips her top off.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
It's like welcome, it's like we're happy we're graduating. Graduating with some boobage.
Is a tradition that should be brought to America.
Yeah, it was interesting. It's always very interesting, and they're barely dressed. It's interesting. The graduation party. He's like, the girls are basically slutting it up, I don't know why. It's like in Halloween here. If you are like a girl, Halloween is just an excuse to get undressed. Because really the costumes for girls are all about, slutty nurse, slutty...
Sexy pirate. That's my favorite.
You know what's my favorite? Slutty Freddy Krueger.
Yes, there's something
I don't know if I watched that mental
twisted
image.
about that. All right. Weird question. If you guys haven't had a chance to look at it beforehand, maybe something will pop up into your head. I'll go first. Question is, what is something that is the most horror movie / comedy scene / Wes Anderson film scenario that you've personally experienced? So, like for me, I was once attacked by a book about the occult. Like, I literally woke up and this book is floating above my head. And I try to grab the book, and the book literally slams on my hand in an attempt to hurt my hand. It actually can't because it's just a book. But it was the scariest thing that I've ever experienced.
This is a dream, or is
What
it?
did you take
To this day, I don't know whether or not it was a dream. I assume it was a dream because I woke up a little bit later on and the book was laying on my bedstand next to my bed, and I just took it outside and burned it because I wasn't sure. I might have been sick. Who knows what. But it terrified me, and I remember waking up with the hairs sticking sticking up on the back of my neck, and I should preface that whole story. I should have prefaced that whole story with saying, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness, so like those whole demon possession things were a really big deal when we were growing up. So I was probably fixated on the book, on the fact that I had the book first of all, and probably had a nightmare. But
What book was it?
I can't remember. It was a book that talks specifically about like occult energies.
So it was a forbidden book in.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So that when I think about scenes that are strange horror movie like, that's one of the first ones that come to my mind. The one that I was actually thinking about when I thought this story up is bumping into an ex in an unexpected, unexplainable place kind of thing that happened to me when I was in high school. So I just wanted to
you ran into your ex-wife? And then you backed up and ran into her again?
and again. So I wanted to see if you guys had any experience with, like, finding yourself in a situation where you think, this comes out of a comedy movie or this comes out of a horror movie. Have you guys had any experiences like that?
I'm sure we all have, right?
Yeah, mine are mostly, high school nerd comedies, because there was a time they tried to wrap me up in duct tape, and I managed to hang on to there's a pole for the two metal doors. I managed to grab hold of the door, and they couldn't get my hands off of that one.
And that's the only thing that saved you?
That was the only thing that saved me, yeah, because they couldn't get me out of the building to get the tape wrapped around me.
Gotcha.
Nice.
I think I'd sort of set up that one because a couple of weeks earlier, while we were in band, I was standing in the back. I played trombone, and for whatever reason, I was standing and I had one of my legs propped up on my knee in kind of an angle. I was just standing there resting, and suddenly lost my balance and fell over into a tuba case.
Oh, brilliant.
So, there's a number of, wonderful high school comedy moments involving myself, so.
Yeah, wow.
How about you, Mr.
That's
Ivanov?
crazy. Oh my God, there's so many that like pouring into my head. Just crazy stories. I know which one our guest will say because I was a witness of that one. Maybe you will tell it, maybe not. Maybe you don't want to tell it, but it involved soccer. And that was a horror. That was pure horror story. And we were there together, and it was scary. The one I want to tell is so obnoxious that I'm not sure it happened to me. Maybe it happened. Maybe it happened to somebody else. Let's call him Johnny.
Okay.
So Johnny was one of the things that he missed after he got married was that freedom and exuberance of farting in bed. Because once you get married, that fantastic feeling of releasing gas in bed is taken away from you. It's merciless, So Johnny was not happy, It was tough. Every time he would fart under the blanket, his wife would get extremely upset. So,
Sorry, I just need to interrupt for just a second. this is not about you. This is about
This is
some guy
about
named
Johnny.
Johnny.
This is about
Okay.
Johnny. It's Johnny. I'm channeling Johnny. So Johnny gets really upset. And he realizes marriage is based on compromises. So he has to compromise. He's calling those fabulous farts, that were at some point were masterpieces. It could have been masterpieces, but he's calling them, and just not allowing them, allowing them to become expressed. And so eventually, though, he starts releasing every once in a while, one or two, and so the wife gets more and more upset. And she said, "Why the heck are you doing this? It's so easy. There's a bathroom in our bedroom. Why don't you just go fart in the bathroom and then come back to bed? It's simple as that. And it's a small bathroom. It's like an elevator. It's one of those small bathrooms. And so there was a consensus achieved. And so shortly, basically next week, Johnny eats scrambled eggs for dinner and spinach and and some really gnarly fruit, and he basically has the ingredients of an epic, just epic fart just cooking in his stomach, and he knows it that it's coming. So he's holding on to it because he wants to make it a masterpiece. Because now there's a plan. So it's coming, and it's like in the middle of the night, 3:00 in the morning. So he's like, this time I'm not gonna betray my spouse. I'm not gonna release this monstrosity under the blanket. So he gets up, he goes to the bathroom, he just cracks open the door, puts his butt into the crack, and just releases the most incredible, monumental, deadly fart known to humanity. And then he goes happy back to bed and hugs his wife, and she's not there. She had gone to the bathroom.
This poor Johnny fellow. Oh.
So there's a comedy story. Not about me.
Wes Anderson, if you're listening.
What about you, Lynn? Have you had any Wes Anderson-like?
I did not grow up here. Who is Wes Anderson?
Wes Anderson is this movie director that has movies that basically put people in strange, almost surreal, dream-like conditions.
She's like a Dali.
Very.
No, not
Surrealist.
not as
Yeah.
surreal as Dolly, but definitely.
I'll tell
Very
you,
quirky.
when you said something like that, my first reaction is I hate the movie Airplane.
Okay.
You hate You're the first person that hates airplanes.
Surely you're joking.
You surely.
That's all I'm going to say.
And don't
You
call me
surely
Shirley.
can't be serious.
That's
Don't
all
call
I'm
me
going to
Shirley.
say. That's it.
Oh no. So you don't agree with absurd humor and.
She does not like Monty Python either.
Yeah, I hate that too. So
Oh no. So there's nothing amazing.
there's one Monty Python like Confucius and Beckenbauer, the football.
Yeah,
that one
she likes
I like.
the English German philosophers
That
versus
one
the
I
Greek
like.
philosophers.
Not even the fish slap dance.
Nope.
How can you not laugh?
Not even the
at
dead
fish
parrot.
slap?
Not even the cheese sketch.
No, you have to keep in mind I did not grow up here, so
Well,
all
yes,
of
that's
those
true.
is just like
The soccer match between the German and
That's pretty
Greek
good.
philosophers was fantastic. Eureka!
Yeah.
Archimedes, or Socrates came up with the concept of scoring a goal. But then I remember clearly when Immanuel Kant started arguing with the referee, denying reality. He managed to convince him that.
But I
All
would
right.
say, between those two, I think I hate Monty Python more than Airplane. But I hate them
I
fairly
can
equal.
understand that.
Yeah.
Actually, that I can get. Monty Python, I can understand it causing a strong feeling of dislike more so than Airplane. I can see people not getting Airplane, but I can see you not actively not liking Monty Python. That makes sense.
Remember on Airplane the scene where a woman had a panic attack and he went to get her, started shaking her, slapping her, and then another guy came and punched her in the face, and then another guy with boxing gloves came, and there was a line of
baseball
people,
bat.
baseball bat, machine gun. I think that was United. That's it.
No joke. All right. Speaking of which, I went first. Every so often I happen to hop on Urban Dictionary. I went on Urban Dictionary today. The top new word for listed in Urban Dictionary was reaccommodate. Because the CEO Munoz or whatever his name is.
We were just trying to help him be reaccommodated.
Reaccommodate himself.
Oh
yes.
gosh.
So, what do you guys think about that? It's not on my list of questions here, but
It's amazing. Such a small gesture, they could have handled it differently. Cost them about $100 million so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, who knows if they, because they started offering at 400, and then it went to 800. Mm-hmm. What would have happened if they'd gone to 1,000? Would more people have said, "Oh yeah, I'll take 1,000, sure," or 1,200?
In this case, they could have offered $1 million, and it would have been cheaper.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's nice that I think 2 of the officers who pulled him off the plane have now been suspended and are probably in big trouble. And if United goes down and files for bankruptcy and is rebought and something changes, I think that's a good thing.
But they were following the rule. The airline company has rights to do that. That's the awful part.
True.
And usually people be happy because usually you get some cash and you always find the volunteer that fits well.
But I think this is the first time I've ever seen anybody actually pulled off a plane.
No, you're right.
I've known people who before they get on the plane, they'll say, "I'm sorry, we can't accommodate you. We're going to do this for you." But they actually physically drag you and get your face slammed into an armrest and physically.
It was crazy.
For a paid.
He paid his
Like,
ticket. It's not
awful.
like it was overbooked.
No.
The point is that they needed to get their staff to another location.
That's
even
that's
part of it.
worse because he paid for that seat.
That's even worse.
It's not that it was overbooked and
They just wanted preferential treatment to some of their own people, and that is just a PR disaster. It's a disaster.
So, do you think that an airplane company would have done this 10 years ago? Are we starting to see those fractures of the Trumpian society that we've been talking about for the last year or so?
The security personnel, there is some kind of different attitude, that is, you can feel it in the atmosphere. So, maybe, I don't know.
Well,
I think it's always been there. Trump is a sort of a manifestation of it, but I noticed that kind of attitude with, even before 9/11 with the TSA.
Really?
There would, you'd still see those grumpy, security personnel who just, they were a security guard. They had a quote unquote uniform on and their pepper spray and their keys and their badges, and they were going to throw their weight around and
But there's a big argument for racism in this case, and China is extremely upset. The Chinese blogs, probably know, have exploded, and China is boycotting United, and that's huge.
Nice.
That is
good for them.
One of the biggest customers in the world, and they're saying this is racism. This is because the man was of Chinese ancestry. So,
well, can we go a little bit bigger and talk about regulation and deregulation? I mean, how many airplane companies are there left in America now? Seem to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and with that power comes less customer support.
That's true. There's no competition.
There's no competition. So what's the big deal if they throw one person off? So you're going to buy the product anyways.
Yeah, you have no choice.
Yeah,
you have no choice.
The best thing United could do right now is offer $50 tickets to Las Vegas, and all those boycotters are like, well, as long as it's cheaper. Yeah.
The guy was flying to Louisville, right, to Kentucky.
Yes.
How many airplanes are flying to? How many companies are flying to? You have no choice. You probably just have a couple of choices. So they're not going. I don't know. Yeah. You're right, though. It's a good point. More competition is needed. We used to have TWA. By the way, they're our sponsor today, TWA, and Pan Am as well.
Pan
Am. Blockbuster is sponsoring us today. Blockbuster, and whoever is the biggest pager manufacturer in the country.
I always preferred Hollywood Video myself.
So no, that's it's interesting because. I've watched a ton of the videos and read a bunch of articles about how it's not really United's fault. And it's actually kind of sickening. I don't know if you guys have seen these, but it's like, and it's exactly what Fernando said. But the airlines told you on the back of the ticket that they could force you off the
Yeah.
plane after and somehow that seems to make it right in the minds of the defenders of United,
Yeah.
which is just a little sickening.
It's also become very popular not to apologize for anything because of Trump,
Yep.
and the guy immediately, the CEO came out and doubled down on it, saying, "Yeah, no, we did right. The customer was, unruly."
Yeah.
And now he's apologizing because
he
they're
was
losing
upset
money.
because he
you
bought
know.
the ticket and
$100
he
billion
had his
will
seat
make you
and-
apologize.
Will make you apologize.
Yeah.
So
But is that because it's a big company and companies can do that?
yeah.
No, I think that's a super salient point. It's, I don't think it was, well, simply because I've watched all these videos and articles about how the airline companies go about choosing the people that they're going to kick off the plane, how it's all just a algorithm that the computer kicks out, that if you've got to kick 10 people off the plane, here are the 10 people that will cost us the least money. They just didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure none of the first classers even considered to be
No,
kicked off
they're
the
not.
airplane.
They're absolutely not.
I'm generally for deregulation, to tell you the truth, because I grew up in a communist country and I know where regulation will lead you. And it was.
No, you're not. Not for your generation. Maybe your parents' generation.
Well, no, it was pretty nasty, and I like deregulation and less government, but there are some cases. Where some regulation is needed, like we were talking about the water slide.
Yeah.
In Kansas City,
Verrucht.
that killed a kid.
I heard that.
The father, his name is Schwab. He was one of the biggest Tea Party senators. He is still the biggest Tea Party representatives in the Kansas Senate. And he is one of the biggest supporters of complete deregulation of everything. And his child died tragically, and he is now campaigning heavily to regulate. I mean, this is an industry that literally puts your children's life at risk, and you gotta airlines need to be regulated. I'll tell you what, it's gotten out of control. They have every 3 months, there's a quarterly meeting of the board of directors and the shareholders, and they're asking the CEO, why are they not making more money? Every 3 months they're asking, why am my shares are not making more money? So the guys have to do crazy stuff. I mean, we are at a point where we basically they will charge you for using the lavatory, the leg room is basically
They charge you for blankets.
for midgets. You know,
headphones.
if you're a midget, they charge you for. I mean, they charge you for. They're gonna start charging for carry-ons. I mean, they're going to start charging us for wearing clothes. It's just ridiculous.
Breathe in the air.
People usually pay me to put clothes on, so I won't have to worry about that.
No, I mean, you're taking space if you wear, you can't wear a sweater.
Well, and they'll keep the cabins colder, so you have to put more clothes on, and it's extra surcharge for every item of clothing that you.
Oh, brilliant! You should be a CEO of United. Oh my God, they're gonna keep you forever. Yeah, unbelievable.
No, it's nasty, and I do agree. I think that it's more profit motive than anything else. You get bigger and bigger, and you just care less and less about
Well, and it
people.
points to the misdirection of corporate charters in the sense that shareholder value is the only metric by which a corporation should be measured. When that's a relatively new idea that
Yeah.
But it's taken apart the consumers' rights when it comes to air travel. I mean, it's become outrageous. They're now looking. I don't know if you've seen this. They're now looking to have seats that you're standing up, and you're buckling up while standing up.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's.
as a former airplane designer, that's a really bad. That's a really bad idea.
Yeah, but they're capable of anything nowadays. Did I miss a topic in the beginning of the?
Yeah, we just kind of asked what was your favorite season. What are you looking forward to summer? Are you missing winter?
Oh, okay.
And nobody is looking forward to summer apparently, except for Lin. Lin likes summer.
Like summer.
I like summer.
You said spring.
Well, I like playing golf in the summer.
Okay.
And I like winter too because I like to go snowboarding.
It depends on the geographic location. You
So
know.
living here.
Living here, the fall, I think, is the most fantastic season. And I like it right now, and I tell you why. No bugs. There's no
Good
bugs drive me insane here. And so you have the temperature that's relatively pleasant, and you don't have the bugs yet. October is fantastic in Kansas. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's my month. That's when I was born. So that's got to be fantastic.
That's got to be it.
All right, new question. Have you guys? Okay, so most of us are right in the same age range. Did you guys do Would You Rather in college when it came out?
Yeah.
Would you rather? You guys, are you familiar with this at all? Here, I'll give you an example. Would you rather be able to fly or read minds? Matt,
Fly.
why?
Well, we just talked about the situation with the airlines.
I know. I don't want to get taken off a plane. There's snakes on planes. There's people on planes with baseball bats and machetes.
How about would you rather be double your weight or half your size?
half my size?
That was a really, really quick answer. I'm surprised.
Well, my
'Cause-
mom's half my size, so it would fit right in.
So you did. It
Yeah,
would not
wouldn't
be a
matter.
problem at all. Okay, one more for you.
Oh, wow.
Would you rather live in the Harry Potter universe or the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Can I choose Lord of the Rings universe?
Nope, off the table.
Can I be a wizard in Harry Potter's?
You can be whatever
Oh,
you
that's
want.
fine. Then Harry Potter.
All right.
But can he be anything in the Marvel universe?
Yeah, you can
Holy
be.
crap.
All right,
No.
Mr. Evanoff, which would you choose, Marvel or Harry Potter? A weighty decision is about to be made.
I think I'll go with Marvel. I don't know if there's a particular reason for this. There's more superpowers, more variety. And it seems like Marvel is. It's also.
There's a lot more violence.
Yeah, there's more death and destruction in the
Yeah.
Marvel universe as opposed to.
You don't get a vacation.
You guys
There's
not remember
so-
the Dementors?
Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
held in check, and there's only one real big villain in the Harry Potter universe.
It's
you know.
gonna all these like teenage angst gonna drive me crazy in fucking Harry Potter. These freaking teenagers, angry teenagers with, and on top of it with magical powers. Fuck that. And I hate that Quidditch shit. Quidditch sucks, man. It's ridiculous. Fantasy Quidditch leagues, I have to put up with that. You know?
Hey, my cousin plays Quidditch. Come on,
Fantasy or real?
Rio. Yeah, she
Oh, I know the KU
runs
has
around
a
with a
team.
broomstick between her legs.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
How about you,
No,
Lynn?
Marvel Universe.
Would you rather be in Harry Potter's universe or the Marvel Cinematic Universe?
Harry Potter, I don't really relate that much. What is the other one?
Marvel
What is
Cinematic,
that about?
X-Men.
Wolverine or
I would rather be in martial arts field.
Yeah, good.
That's what I can relate. to.
Okay, fair enough. How about you, Chris?
I'd have to go with Harry Potter.
Really? Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
The question there, though, is are you going to be a Muggle or are you going to be a wizard? You know,
Right.
That's the question.
So if
Well, you can be anything you want.
if you were going to choose, I'm assuming you would choose to be a wizard.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'd be a Slytherin too. So.
Wow, now
The evil
that's
wizard.
very telling. How about you, Fernando?
Dark
I know you've been
wizard.
considering this question for the last 5 minutes or so.
Harry Potter, like they have that beer, you know.
Exploding
It's
keys.
all like, you know.
Well, I think I came up with Harry Potter for exactly the reason that you guys brought up earlier. Marvel Cinematic Universe is a dangerous place. It's like you could.
Galacticus.
Hot chicks, though.
That's true, and they
But you
wear.
can make one in Harry Potter.
Hermione.
make a spell for
What?
that.
Oh no,
She's illegal. She's illegal.
not
she's
anymore.
illegal in
Not
the
anymore.
series.
She graduated.
She's now like 40 plus years old. Did you
40
read the?
No, she's 22 or something.
In the last book, they're like all grown up and they have teenage kids now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. What's the name of that book? The new Harry Potter book? Harry Potter and the
The Cursed Child.
the Cursed
or-
Child. Yes. Good pull.
There's a new one coming?
Well, it is
It's
the
actually a
screenplay.
play. Yeah.
Oh,
It's a,
okay.
They
It's not-
basically took the
it's a play.
screenplay, or that's not a play, and
but
made
the
a
epilogue
novel out
of the last book has Harry and
Ginny.
and Jenny, taking their kids to the train station to send them off to Hogwarts.
So she's like a 40-year-old MILF now. It's completely fine.
Okay.
All right. This I stole from Reddit. we have a question. You have the power to bless a person in some small way. And it's got to be so small that if they notice it and try to test it, it goes away. So, for instance, I'll give you my first thought. I would make it so that the person that I was blessing would not have to deal with static electricity shocks in the winter as they're going across the floor. Something that could possibly they could keep for the rest of their life, as long as they didn't then try to say, you know what, I never get shocked. And so if they rub a balloon on their clothes and try to, then the blessing is ruined.
I'd never be able to annoy people ever again. That'd be
Exactly.
terrible.
So, if you had to bless someone in a small way, and by that I mean you can't make them rich, you can't make them immortal, but you just wanted to make their life a little bit better, what would you do?
That's good.
Never have a bad hair day.
Sweet. There's almost no way to test that either. Kuzinski.
Either good eyes or good hearing.
Oh, very good.
You know.
But what about when you go to the doctor for an eye test? Does that
Well, it
ruin
wouldn't.
the blessing?
Why would it ruin the blessing? You don't know
That's
you
what
have
I'm
bad
asking.
eyes.
That's a good point. How about you, Fernando?
Make like a Trump stop tweeting.
Trump to stop eating.
Tweeting.
Oh, tweeting!
Trump is no longer allowed to tweet.
Well, that's a blessing not for Trump, it's for everybody else.
That's
Exactly.
for
Like
You're
everybody.
blessing the entire world.
nation.
You've blessed the world.
Until some asshole says,
Why
isn't Trump tweeting?
Yeah, that's a good point.
How about you, Ivo?
You mean like somebody that I want, like something small towards a specific person?
Yeah.
And bless somebody to have like multiple orgasms every Thursday.
What happens if they're driving home?
They could learn to control it.
Well, you can't control it. If you control it, you know about it.
Thursdays after 5. How's that?
Okay.
Does that
Make
There
sure
you
you don't
go.
have a night job.
And make their life a little better.
How about you, Lynn? Have you come up with any blessings that you wanted to give someone?
Well, I don't have anything right out of my mind, but I guess maybe just have a safe and happy day, something
Safe
like
and
that.
happy day?
Yeah, something
That's a
like
good-
that.
I was thinking
good
of
blessing.
one more.
Yeah.
I was thinking no red lights.
Yeah.
Never get stopped
Green
by a red
light.
light.
Oh, that's nice.
Uh-huh.
That's nice. That's very sweet.
See,
Thank
I have two questions.
Uh-huh.
You comment on the side. Why I'm as an analyst, that's my instinct. I can't help it. A, why is multiple? B, why is thirsty? You got to. That's just.
I really don't know, and that's scary. It's just whatever comes here in this weird
That's
place.
just I know. So it's fascinating. And then another thing, it's like there's a Woody Allen movie saying something like either you have one, like a lady talked to her psychologist,
Yeah.
and her psychologist was saying, you have a wrong one, something like that. And basically they're saying like either you have one or you don't have one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean the analysis part that does not quite make a lot of sense.
Nothing makes sense in my head. I don't know
Right,
why.
right.
It's
No,
like,
I mean,
I'm
that's-
sorry.
That's just offline. I'm
Just
sorry.
something comes into my
You
head.
should have picked Taco Tuesday. Because Taco Tuesday and that, I mean, that's a double bonus.
It's just that Western European weirdness,
And then, by the way, I don't think you're a commie. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not. Definitely not. But because I kind of half of my life was in a communist world behind the Iron Curtain, I can I feel bad about regulation. I just over-regulation can really stifle, a human being. So
Or
that's what I
yeah.
meant.
Yeah.
you know.
All right, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We have hit the hour mark. You have been listening to Wednesday Night Undressed. Please come check us out on our website. It's just WednesdayNightUndressed.com. We can also be found on iTunes. I want to thank all of the members of the panel for coming out.
And thank you, TWA
And Blockbuster.
and Blockbuster.
Thank you very much for being our engineer tonight, Neil Rasmussen. And our thoughts go out to Mr. Eric. We hope that he is back with us real soon.
All right.